Oilers make another move. Last night, they acquired Nick Bjugstad from the Coyotes, who don't really exist actually anymore, but we'll save that for another video. Nick Bjugstad is a guy that signed in Arizona. He asked Bill Armstrong, hey, listen, let me sign here. Let me get my game back. And it looks like he has. And, but useful player for the Edmonton Oilers, which, have been talking about all deadline how impossible it is to get any trades done. So what do you think Nick Bjugstad brings to the Oilers?
I mean, forget the Oilers. This is about Bjugstad and winning the lottery. He gets to be a winger on the Edmonton Oilers. I've been higher on them than most for some reason recently, but I think he has a real good chance at winning the Stanley Cup. Right now they got a little bit of injury trouble, but I'm just looking at them on Daily Faceoff. Top line, Hyman, McDavid. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And you would imagine Evander Kane's on that line eventually.
Yeah, but then Derek Ryan. Okay, second line.
Yeah.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Leon Draisaitl. Oh my God. Kayla Yamamoto. Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod, Matthias Janmark. And
yeah.
There is a real opportunity here for him. I had a little Babcock there. Opportunity. Daily Faceoff has him slotted in as the fourth line center, which I find fascinating. And I mean, he could be very good there. And maybe Derek Ryan's exactly what they need up front in absence of Evander Kane. But to be a forward on the Edmonton Oilers, it's exactly what they need. And heading into a contract year where you're already doing pretty well, oh, yeah.
It's
that's
a good
just what
audition.
the doctor ordered.
Good to play near McDavid and Draisaitl in the playoffs when you're auditioning for a new contract, right?
You're an injury or a coach's decision away from playing with the best player on earth.
Right. Now, when you saw Gene Principe interviewed Ken Holland in the intermission of the Leafs game against the Oilers the other night, and Ken Holland seemed about as happy as you would imagine. Matthias Ekholm had just been announced. What do you think about the Oilers' additions, and did they do enough? Because there's a lot of questions about the right side of their defense.
I look at the right side of their entire team. I do really like. No, I'm serious. I do really like Evan Bouchard, but we just talked about the weakness on the wings. They do have some guys who can play both, so I'm not going to totally write it off. And I think we saw firsthand in that game, it's bloody chaos when they attack you. So I don't know how much it matters what position they come at you from, because it's just sort of Connor McDavid and everyone. All right, get behind him, get on his back. But Ekholm, I think, is exactly what they needed. There's some talk about the contract, and listen, they did a masterful job with their cap. I believe they have exactly $0 in cap space left.
Wow.
So why did the Predators retain 4%? That's probably why. It's just something Ken Holland insisted on getting the deal done. And that's how David Poile was able to get his price, because it wasn't going to get done otherwise.
It's a bit of a bummer, though, that they have to subtract Tyson Barrie. Well, I feel bad for Tyson Barrie, but it's a bummer for the Oilers, too, because he really could have been, as much as he's got his defensive warts, could have been quite valuable for this run. And, at the end of the day, depth is depth. You look at some of the other teams that have made a lot of moves here. You look at the Rangers. They're a bit of a special situation because of the Kane situation, but you look at the Leafs and the moves they've made, and they are in just as much cap trouble as the Edmonton Oilers are. But
everyone is.
But they were able to make moves and not subtract from their NHL roster. And I think that's the one question I would have with the Oilers is, not that Tyson Barrie is going to make or break, but when you get into the playoffs, you need defensemen 7 or 8 to jump in there. Tyson Barrie is a top 4 guy.
He's top 4 offensively. He's a fascinating player, right? Elite power play 1 guy, not great 5-on-5. He can move the puck. He's just not really good at defending. And it's funny that just a few weeks ago we were talking about, you have this amazing guy on this amazing power play, and it could improve. It could get even better by getting Erik Karlsson, and then they actually subtracted from the position because Ekholm isn't that. They didn't get him for that purpose. He doesn't need to be. But it's a huge opportunity for Evan Bouchard, who really has shown flashes early in his career, but it's got to be a confidence booster for him that the team believes in him enough to kick a guy out the door to give him an enormous opportunity.
Jesse, if you're an Oilers fan, do you think that Ken Holland's done enough?
Right now, no. I've seen a lot of Oilers fans not happy with Ekholm because of the contract. It's $6 million for another 4 years, which if you have Connor 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Well, after this, because he's still 4 years currently, right? You have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Who cares about the next 3 years in that contract? Figure it out when you get there. I think that's how Ken Holland should be acting at all times. And this is a move in that direction where you're like, I don't care about the future. We need this help right now. I hope he does more because as Steve outlined, that entire right side of the team essentially isn't up to par of where it should be. You should be able to find all the assets you need to help those guys up front win a couple rounds against the Stanley Cup final. You know, this is a team that went to the Western Conference final last year. It feels like they didn't do that. It feels like they've never done it, but they did. They've gotten right there.
I wonder if Ken Holland's stupid like a fox, because he had like less than a week ago that interview where he's like, Evander Kane is going to be our trade deadline acquisition, and everyone lost their mind, and he's like, okay, how about Ekholm and Bjugstad? And everyone went, whew. Oh, thank goodness.
There's something.
I don't know. Ekholm addresses an immediate need.
Yes,
so I do
but
think that's good.
The other immediate need is goaltending, but you have a goalie there who's got to be the answer to it. It's got to be Stuart Skinner or Jack Campbell has to get his ish together.
Yeah, most teams are screwed if their starter gets hurt, and to me, in my mind, it's Stuart Skinner. So I'm willing to give him that.
Okay, so lastly, I think on the Oilers for now is this is my favorite part of the day. As of the recording of this video, which is even before noon, you know, the Oilers, the Oilers have said that they're done. Mm-hmm. The Senators have said that they're done. They're leaking it to the insiders right now. We're done. We're not doing this. We're good. Do you believe them?
Oilers, I do believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
because I think the math is not mathing.
I believe both of those teams. I think they're done. Yeah.
Okay. Because some guys will come out and they'll say we're done, and then they'll make a trade.
Yeah, I don't think
the Oilers
it's going to be as quiet a day as people predict.
There's nothing there. Like, there's no cap room. Unless they're taking things off their roster, which I don't think they're doing, then they can't make a trade.
Right, and it's difficult to do. Okay, so that wraps it for this, but we've got a lot more. There are going to be videos all day. Get ready. It's SDPN trade deadline.